Okay, welcome to part 4 of this card. I really like how this is coming about, turning out. There's been some surprises for me in terms of, kind of the appearance of these little glass shards that I'm putting in here. Kind of in a good way, when I think about it, though, because they're kind of subtle, they're kind of obscure in some ways. Let me see. If you can see them a little bit more just straight on like this, you can see them in kind of the, this rocky, real textured area of the pieces, okay? But they're pretty subtle, though. When you hold it up like this, it captures, it reflects some of the light and color that I was hoping it would. But it's not real kind of in your face, like in real glistening, even with, you can see how much lighting I have in here, with my studio lights right here. But it's real subtle. So okay, so as far as integration goes, that's good because it really blends in with the piece like that. All right, and up here, I don't know. Maybe it's just due to the amount of white pigment ink that I did as a base coat on here, plus the addition of the colored pencils. The that shardy kind of holographic patterning on there, it's reasonably subtle. I mean, even at like this angle right here, you can barely see it. Okay, now I'm looking at it from a different angle, like at, I don't know, straight on right here. Here it's like at 45 degrees from my lights. So I do see something different here. All right, but I think it's, I don't know, everything's a lot more I, when I you wouldn't think that the word mellow would come into play when you have these glass shards here, on top of a holographic piece of paper and this super loud, kind of shardy, patterned holographic paper, you know, used in any sense would be kind of a mellow type of surface. How that came about, I'll never know. But it does look a little bit mellow to me, maybe with things that I've been using over the past few months. I don't know. But okay, so that being said, I'm going to come into this and I want to use a little bit more tone, I think. And this is a color blue that I really like. And I want to see if I can inject some of this color into the piece a little bit more. So I'm going to be adding it again into those shadow areas. I don't want to darken things too much, but I just want to have some influence of this color. You can see that blue tone right there a little bit more. I mean, up here, it's, you have to kind of figure, am I looking at the holographic part of it, or is it like a blue toned rock? Okay. So, I do want to have some of this blue in here. I want to have some temperature. And I really like this color of blue here too. But I want to have some more infusion of just some inherent color apart from the holographic patterning in here. Just on some of these rocks in here. Just for a little bit of variation when we're not getting, that holographic patterning showing through so someone can enjoy the piece at any angle. So see that little blue tone up there? It's a little bit of a cooler but bright, kind of warm color of blue like that. So let's add in, some of this little infusion here. And I think I might go with a little bit of a warm tone too. So this is kind of it's a cool color, but it's, for blues, it's a little bit warm because it has a little bit of green in it. So a little bit more aqua, I guess. See that little bluish tinge right there? Now, in some of these other areas, let's see if I can inject, in a small degree, a little bit of warmth. So we can play around with temperature in here because it does get a little bit stark, okay? Foils, I mean, they have yellows and oranges in here, but metallics are kind of like they're kind of a little bit more, yeah, kind of stark. They don't have like a glowing warmth in terms of the, the the warm temperatures, okay? So maybe we can inject a little bit of it, with a colored pencil into some of these areas right here. So in some of these areas where I've added the blue, I'm not adding this warm toned, what is this? Sand, okay? And, vice versa. Okay, so let's get a little bit of temperature, warm and cool in our piece. And it's subtle, okay? We're not going for anything, you know, too dramatic. If you give it to someone, they would never think of that, but you just want to kind of create these things like that. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell here, but you can tell the difference between like that rock right there. And see this one right here? There's just kind of a warmer tinge right in here. That's different than like, that's stark white right in there, but you can see a little bit of temperature on these rocks now. See, this one's a little bit cool. This one's a little bit warm like that. And again, I'm not going for like a real hard application of any of this, and it's just really a light one. It just to infuse the piece with a little bit more interest, or I guess variation, which lends itself to visual interest. Okay, so on some of these, let's do the same thing right in here. Let's add a little bit more of this bluish tinge. I really like the look of that. You could do like the top of the rock cool and the bottom of the rock warm too, or something like that, or you can switch it around. Okay, and I think I'll go for some warmth, and I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the, kind of create slightly warmer shadow areas. And I won't use as much of that. I mean, I really like that bluish color, just anyway, so I just added more of that. It's not because, oh, that should be blue right there or something. I just like this color of blue a lot. This is the aquamarine. I need to get more of these pencils. This is getting kind of small here. Okay, let's take a look at that. I don't know if you can see that little bluish tinge right in here. And then you can see this right down here is a little bit warmer. See that? So you're oscillating a little bit more kind of temperature variations in here. And whether or not you can tell the difference when we're looking at it like this, I don't know, But we're just kind of taking this all the way, or I don't know, a lot of the way in terms of finishes as we can go. Okay, so here's what I'm looking at here. Okay, now I want to add in more kind of sparkly touches, if there can be, okay? There's sparkly kind of this holographic, type of patterning in here, but I want to add more of the top end of value, okay? So I want to go all the way to white on some of these areas to give it more of a flashy type of thing. I thought I would be getting it down here with these glass, this colored glass right here. But the colored glass, it's pretty subtle because it's a dark colored glass. There's some of them are yellow or something like that, and you can see it flashing like that. But they're pretty subtle. So I don't know. Like I said, they integrate, they blend in with the piece really well. But I'm not getting that sparkly bit. You know what I mean? The top end flash that I want, that you see everywhere. So like on my pens, right here, you see this little highlight on here. If I have any type of bottle like this, it's that little flashy thing like that. See, like even on black, it's black plastic, but you get that little highlight like that, okay? I want those little highlights in my piece to really bring out kind of dimension. Okay, so where do you do that? Like on the tops of these rocks right here, where they're lighter, I'm going to give it a little bit more of a kick with some of this white here. That. So we've really, blended, added a lot of shadow areas with, colored pencil and, the black pigment ink that we've used down here. So here's where we're going in and adding in that highlighting. Some of these areas I've colored with colored pencil, and I'm just going over the colored pencil. Some of the areas it's just bare holographic. This type of pen right here will stick to anything, okay? Unlike, say, the colored pencil had to stick to the, it had to have something to grab onto in terms of the, the white brilliance ink that was laid down in there. But white acrylic paint pens, yeah, you can use them on anything. You can use them on plastic or glass even. Okay, so on these rocks here, these rocks are lighter on the top. They're drawn that way too. So I'm kind of reiterating it. Just like I reiterated some shadow areas. I darkened in some shadows. So I don't know if you can see that right there, but see these lighter tops right there? Hopefully it looks different than over here, or you can see that on camera here. So there's just a little bit more dimension. Let's do it on these background rocks right in here too. So I'm just going over on these rocks, and I'm illuminating the top of my rock the way I've drawn them too. They got filled in with a little bit of color. That's why this white kind of stands out more. So this will really, hopefully, look like, that light that's coming in from the cave entrance is reflecting on these rocks in here, okay? Now, if it's rocks in a really dark area like this, I don't put too many highlights on it because we're saying that this area is like largely in shadow, so you wouldn't have like light hitting it. But if you retained a little bit of that light, like say right there on top of the rock, then you have left yourself kind of the opportunity for a little bit more of a lighter highlight, okay? Okay, so giving a little dimension to these rocks right in here. I'm going to pause this video and I'll take care of this on the other side. You like that? You don't need to watch every minute of this highlighting process. All right, rocks I think are done. So you can see it like this, but you can really see it, the highlights on tops of the rocks when I go like this. You can see the highlighting in here. And I've added these little white dots in some areas in the water too, to kind of complement, the black, pebbly rocks down there in that area like that. So in some areas like in here, I mean, you'd see that in water anyway, like that little shimmer type of thing. But that's in there as well. So it's a little bit more dimensional now, I feel. Okay, so we need to do the same type of thing in here. Now there's a lot of, potential kind of highlighting in here. I don't want to do it on every single surface like that, which would be possible. So I'm going to keep the kind of the highlighting right in this area, like it's a passage of light coming down this way. And I'll put some on the, some of the lighter areas within this space like this. But I don't want to go overboard because I don't want to make it look like, I don't know, like Christmas lights or something like that are all over this place. Okay, so, just in general, this area down here, this little corridor, it's kind of like a corridor of light, you might say, or passage of light, passageway, where it's leading down into this pond. And there's some areas just that are in here that are a lot lighter that I've retained the lightness. And it wasn't for the purpose of, okay, I'm going to highlight later on, so I need to leave that light. It's just, you can just kind of go with whatever happened. So if it was lighter over here, where you placed your white blocking out pigment ink or more of it in this way, and this way was super dark, then you highlight that way, And it'll look fine. It's not like, oh, that other place would have been better for the light. I mean, maybe, but it wasn't like, these cards aren't going to be like a situation where it's like, I put that light in the wrong place, therefore it's ruined. Yeah, maybe one area might have looked, you know, if I did it a different way, maybe it would have been, 2% better or something like that. It's more of that type of thing. Okay, so as I'm going over this, I'm kind of scooping up some of that colored pencil that's already been laid down. I'm probably scratching up some of the brilliance ink impressions or the blocking out that's down there, because these pens, there's just a little hole in there. So you just gotta get them flowing again, kind of get that little area that's kind of blocking it released, and you just get it flowing again. It's no problem. Okay, so it's like on the top surfaces of some of these rocks, like right in here, you can see me applying it. So hopefully you can see that kind of coming about a little bit more. All right, I'm going to pause again, and we'll take care of the rest of this. Okay, I think that is it right there. It looks pretty harsh when I go like this, and it's completely blocking out, most of that light like that. But that's how it looks like that in there. But you can see the highlighting in here and how it kind of brings that light from the outside inside a little bit more. I put some on this kind of more vertical type of patterning up here. You can see the rocks on the top of the cave, the ledge has been highlighted, but like bottom lit, okay? And the rocks up here are top lit, because that's where the lighting is coming from. So you wouldn't do the bottom side or something like that. So, and then I have a little bit of it kind of traveling out here. That one's a little bit lit. I guess I could put a couple highlights over here. Yeah, I won't put too many though, but most of it is linear. I haven't done too many the stippled kind of dot, but maybe we will do that. What I have in mind coming up here with some of the clear crystals. Okay, but anyways, yeah, it looks pretty good like that. Okay, so we've added in that kind of top end lighting in there. I think it looks a little bit more dimensional. You can see like that. There's a little bit more color on these rocks too. The bluish tinge, a little bit of that warmth in there. Again, you can, it's hard to say what color that is, but when you compare it to white down there, you can see it has that little bit of a warm tinge to it, just slightly. And then again, when you hit it with that light, all that comes alive. I love that look right in here. Well, all over the place. Look at that movement up there. Okay, so let's take a look and see what it's looking like. I don't know if there's going to be like a gigantic difference with that highlighting in there, but again, it's one of those little things that just keep adding on. Yeah, I think it looks a little bit better. A little bit more dimensional up there. And there's more kind of definition, I think, like that. But now I think, we can really bring these areas to life a lot more with some little flashes of cool, clear crystals. I have all these other different types of things too. Oh, okay. By the way, I think when I was thinking about this piece, I was thinking, between yesterday and today, I was thinking, throwing just almost everything into this piece, but I don't want to do that anymore. I think I want to do another cave, but I want to have it more focused around, the glowing effects in another piece. Okay. I think I just want to keep the two, I don't know, kind of whatever special effects separate from one another, as opposed to having this crystally one, shimmery one, also glow in the dark, because that glow in the dark it looks different when you apply it on here. It's going to have this puffy type of thing where I want to have that just completely, I want to have that texture just completely separate on another piece, that's made for turning off the lights and having kind of a cool effect going on in there. So on that one, I won't worry so much about how it looks just in regular lighting, because it's going to be all about the the glow in the dark aspect of it. Which I just remembered, I have some glow in the dark vinyl. I don't know if it's sticker paper, but it's glow in the dark. So yeah, I completely forgot about that. So we'll do it on that. I've only used it once before, once or twice before, I'm not sure. Okay, so we're gonna keep this pretty simple in terms of the color here. I just think that the clear crystals are going to look the best on this one, as opposed to going with some of those gold shards in here. Let's keep it multicolored and then just clear, because the clear can also kind of reflect some of these different colored reflective foil lights that we're going to have in here too, so it'll integrate a little bit more. And I still want to do like things with the silver, can be used as well. Let's try with the crystals first. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to use quite a bit of them in here, I think. So where to place them? I'll kind of cluster them here and there. And let's get things ready for me first here. I don't want to have a gigantic dollop of glue where I'm going to be placing some of these crystals are really small, so I don't need a big, and they're flat on the bottom too, so I don't need as much glue as I did with the glass. But let's get some of these out, ready to go. I just take a bunch of them and drop them like this, and the ones that are kind of upright, I can dab into and use right away, as opposed to trying to flip them over. Okay, so on the top scene right here that represents something more distant, I'll use these smaller crystals here. So I think I'm going to just do this like I do with some other things. I kind of cluster them a little bit. Let's just do a little grouping of them one at a time. One grouping at a time, that is, not one crystal at a time. Well, I am putting on one crystal at a time, but I'm adding that grouping of little glue dots down. Okay, so see, that's what that's going to look like right there. See them right there? They flash that little color like that. Or not color, but light like that. Some here, maybe over here. It's kind of a big dollop of glue, what I said I wasn't going to do, but quite a bit came out. Oh well. Okay, so there's like 3 right there. I don't want to add too many at any given time too, because when I add a lot of it, it's these little glue dots. Sometimes I can't see where I've placed it. The glue dot, that is. Especially if I have a lot of other glue around in there. Okay, let me see what happened there. Oh, I placed a little crystal into the glue dot, but it submerged into that glue completely and it covered it, so I just wiped it off a little bit. Okay, so they're here, here, and right up there. See that? Yeah. It's a pretty good combination of, kind of that holographic color and, this little twinkly sparkle. It's a bling of a different order or degree, maybe. These little crystals really sparkle well, for especially in regards to kind of how inexpensive they are. Okay, did I just add 2 dots down there? That's what I was saying. Oh, no, there's one more. I thought I added a third. I couldn't see it. Okay, so let's go and I'll add some more around right in here. I'll have some on the roof. I have some different colored ones too. I don't think I'm going to add those in. I have a amethyst and aquamarine. I don't know. I might. I'll figure it out. Let me add some of these clear ones first, though. Okay, I've placed the crystals around right in here. Let me see if I can show you. It's hard to see. You can kind of see it kind of shining, twinkling as I do this. I was going to say seeing if there was like an angle where I can kind of show you everywhere. But look at what these ones are doing over here. You know, it really kind of brings that area to life. Like when I go like this, even this is like all dark right here with you know, but you get those little twinkly little crystals in here. These are all the same size. I thought about going with some larger ones in this foreground right here, but I thought, maybe I'll save the larger ones for you know, the lower half. I think this is looking pretty good, and I think I might add in, you know, one or two of the other colors that I have. But these ones are really doing the trick. So hopefully you can see all those kind of, you know, like look at all them. Yeah, okay, you can see them all kind of illuminated right there. You see them all right around in here. In some areas, I just have like one. Okay, like there's one there, and like two here. Hopefully you can see there's four over there, some down here. I didn't put any down here. So I'm just kind of, I don't know, making an assessment. And I'm holding back because, you know, once I add in those other colors in there, I don't, you know, want I need to leave room for those other colored crystals in there, and then I might add more, you know, two of the smaller ones. So I'm gonna put these crystals like on these rocks right in here. I think. Maybe I won't add too many. Well, let's see how it goes. Okay, so I'm kind of saying that, you know, I don't know, these little diamond things are kind of more embedded into the rock. Okay, I don't think I'm going to use any in the water areas in there. Let's see here. So this is, you know, the foreground area. It's going to be the closest thing to us as the viewer. So let's see. Let's go to a couple larger pieces. I'll just go one size up with the crystal, and I'll integrate them with you know, the slightly smaller one. I don't think I'll go too big because I don't want like some big flashing you know, light in there that kind of overpowers everything. That one just came right off after I laid it down. I think it's because that glue right there is over the top of a lot of colored pencils, so it's waxy, so it kind of moved around on me a little bit. So yeah, just keep that in mind. You might get a little bit of movement when placing these. It's no big deal. Yeah, you just reposition. All right, so let's take a look at this rock right in here. See that rock? And isn't it fun? It really brings it to life, and it gives it a little bit extra visual interest within that space. Let's add a couple down here. Then some of these I was kind of adding it in like a, I don't know, like in a vein or a crack, but it's like as I started adding on that top portion, I thought, yeah, it looks good just anywhere. You can put it like in the middle of the rock, like in an open kind of face area. My son, when he was little, that was one of those things he loved. He loved little like gems and you know, crystals. You know, they had, you know, of course, like a lot of kids do. You know, when you go to the the museum stores and stuff like that, they always have like a little, rock display or something like that. Or you can get, you get a bag and you fill it up with, whatever rocks you want. Maybe there's quartz or something like that in there. I don't know. All right, so we have some right in there. Do you see those three rocks right there? Look at that. Oh, you can see all these little colored rocks in here kind of coming to life. I say rocks, but they're, these colored ones are glass. But look at that twinkle down there now. Now that I'm adding all this, it's like I'm not opposed to adding in, some of the other glitter maybe or something like that. We'll see. All right. I shouldn't have added such a sparse application of glue right now. Let me see if I can spot where I've added it. Okay, I think I can. Let's take a look. Let's see. So the clear crystals. I'm looking at it right down in here. See that's right there? And let's look at the top portion up there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, look at that. You can see the limb, like right in here, kind of twinkle and come alive. It's like looking at animals or something like that out of nature. You don't really see them; they're too camouflaged, and so you only see them kind of when they're moving. So, like all these little things in here, it's like at different angles, you can only like see those little crystals or something like that, depending on if they're kind of flashing some light back at you. But look at this right here. Look how dimensional that looks in there. Okay, so let me take a look at some other colored crystals. Looks like I used everything I poured out right here. Just about. Oh, here's one more. I seem to approach these little crystals or those glass shards. I almost feel like I'm playing around with some, like real kind of precious, material or something like that because I want to use up every little bit. I am just like scooping off some of that glass though and tossing it though. So it's getting it all over the place. So some of these, they're not as dynamic as this brand right here, so they're a little bit duller. But maybe that's a good thing, I don't know. You know, they'll kind of integrate in with the background, I would imagine. So here's like a little aquamarine one, so it'll give me that little aquamarine flash like that. Maybe add more of them because they're, you know, they'd be more subtle, I guess. And then here's purple. So let's see. Look at that right there. It'd be like an amethyst little vein somewhere, maybe. So let me see. So I'm putting that there, seeing what that twinkle would look like. If it's like so subtle, then, you know, I think that blue looks pretty good. I mean, you know, okay, put some little handful of them, maybe here and there. I don't know. So let's see. It could be one of those things, you know, if you're teaching like a kid, keep going back to kid applications for things. But, you know, if they're learning, you know, they like different colored gems or something like that, you stamp them on a card and say, okay, where's the 5 aquamarine? Where's the 5 rubies? You know, if you have like a multi-colored pack or something like that, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, that's the type of stuff that I would have been doing with my son had I been using this type of stuff back, you know, when he was into that type of thing. I think I have a video of him, um, you know, when we made like a little tent, and he was like, you know, created like a little store, you know, for gems or his rocks. You know, pretend selling. All right, so these ones are right down here. It's really hard to see, but you can see that little bling right there of the light blue like that. I think it looks pretty good. Maybe, you know, because I have that light blue in there, and there's a lot of that light blue in the foil patterning as well. Got 4 of them over here. Where did that other one? I don't know where that other one went just now. Okay, there it is. Couldn't find that other glue. All right, so it's like right down in there. See, it doesn't reflect quite as much. Well, it's not too bad. All right, I get all 3 of them right up there. Yeah, maybe I will put a couple of these down in this lower section. You know, I'll incorporate it maybe with some of the clear. down here. Look at this whole area kind of move and come alive. Look at these little twinklies down here too. So we do this, and I mean, it doesn't look like, it doesn't, there's a lot of stuff down in this area, but when we look at it like this, I don't think it overpowers really at all. Surprisingly, in here, let me look at it from my angle too. Okay, no, my angle, everything's kind of glowing, like stronger. Okay, but I think it integrates in with the piece pretty well, and I do like that blue in there. I'm gonna stop with the crystals though at two different clear and blue like that. I think that's enough for in there. Just because we already have all this other action going on with the holographic vinyl. So there's a lot of color in there already, and I think that's probably enough, to make the statement that we're making in here. So I think that should do it. I'm going to sit on this one a little bit longer, though, and I'll try to figure out if I want to add anything else to it, like in what is it, part 5 or something like that. But I think we're looking at potentially the finished piece right here. I'll decide if I want to add in anything more, like, a little hazy mist or something like that, fog, coming in here. I don't know if I want to, but I'll think about it. Oh, okay, so these two characters up here, I'm going to give one of them, kind of a reddish shirt, I think, something like that. But I don't want it, I'm not making it too bright. Something like that. I guess that was like a running joke of landscape photographers at one time. What do you do or something like that for a shot, and you throw someone in there with like a red jacket or shirt or something like that, in the scene. It's using people kind of as a little anchor point. All right, so yeah, they needed a little bit of color in here, just from stark white. Oh, yeah, I didn't think about this too. This is one of those little details like this too, but if light is coming from back in here, then we can kind of create a little bit of a, shadow coming off of them like this. Again, one of those little subtle things that's kind of fun to do. Kind of anchors them down into the scene a little bit more, like that. And this, I'm kind of arcing the shadow because they're on tops of those rocks like that. But what I'll do now is I'll go outside and I'll apply some spray adhesive to these pieces, and we'll get them, I think it's time to get them locked into place here. And that, I said I was going to think about it, but I think that maybe that's what I needed to do there. I just needed to finish off those people like that. All right, so let me pause right here and get these locked into the card base. Okay, spray adhesive on the back. Take our card base right here and have that folded like this. Now this is sticker paper, but I'm not using that sticker paper because it is super aggressive, and if I just touch it in an area that I, don't want it to go, it is really hard to adjust it. It just grabs and sticks really firmly. It's because this vinyl sticker paper, you can use it to, run through your printer and, stick things to like a mug or something like that. And it's pretty aggressive. I'm sure you can't put it through the dishwasher, but you can probably wash it off a little bit. Little stickers I'm talking about, not like complete wraps or anything like that. And, it's probably going to be on there pretty good. But that being said, like on a quarter page scene, I might, use the sticker paper aspect of it. But on a big piece like this, if you just touch it down and you don't want it there and you had to move it, a millimeter or something like that, it's hard to do. And it's like you're bending it and, it's creasing, the vinyl. So I just prefer spray adhesive. I'd recommend it to everyone. I know everyone uses in crafting, use tape runners, and I have that too. Glue, glue runner, tape runners, stuff like that. But when you're working big like this and you want kind of a flush adhesion, 100% adhesion, a can of spray adhesive can go a really long way. You don't slather the back, you give it a kind of an even coating, and one hey, you can do, I don't know, dozens and dozens of cards. There's just one can. It's a little bit messy, you want to do it when there's no wind or breeze outside, you spray it. And I can feel it on my hairs of my arm, because it's in the air. And but it sure makes for some good card making material. All right, so that is what we have here. You can see the crystal. Now again, I would never mail it off like this. I would, put something in between here. If you want like a true reveal for someone. Now see where this is like a little bit of the sticker paper sticking out this way. I do clean this up. I'll put a piece of chipboard in here and I'll fold this down and I'll trim these two together so that they're nice and flush. And also on the left and right side like that. But someone opens up nice like this. It's really fun. It's like, oh my God, look at that thing like that. And see all those little gems right here kind of shining like that as you open it up, and they twinkle like that, and people move this around like this, and you can see these little flashes of different crystals coming, reflecting light and coming alive like that. The holographic paper up top, like that, shining through. It's a card of, it when you're working with metallics like this, it has a little bit of a different personality depending on what angle you're viewing it at or what light is on there. Look at this right here. Look at this kind of water area down here. It's like all violet, at that angle. So it has like all the different colors. Like you can really see all the little shards of glass that I've glued down on here. And this time I did it better, I just laid them down instead of like pouring it on there. Laid it down on their flat end, and it took a while, but this is a pretty large piece, where I've used quite a bit of it. And same thing, up top there, doing it with a ton of little flashy little, bling in there, with the crystals and the different colored crystals and things like that. So I don't know. I think that looks pretty dimensional. Those rocks really look 3D to me. They look 3D anyway, but adding that little shading and then that little highlight on the top, those look really three-dimensional. I mean, they're flat like that, but they sure look like they're sticking out of there. Again, the holographic kind of lends itself to that, and or having a reflective type of thing and stamping on top of that. Things really kind of pop out because you got a lot of depth in these areas like that. So, all right, so the Cave of Dreams, or the Crystal Cave, whatever one you want to call it. Crystal Cave might sound even better. But fun stuff with some nice reflective little elements in there. It's such a fun piece too to look at here in person and have these little things like this. No doubt if you sent this out to someone, they would go down here and touch them like this and, see what was all, those things were all about. But I don't know. It's just so much fun. And, I mean, who wouldn't like kind of working with, just stuff that looks like that? I mean, that is really, really fun. It's a really fun material, to just have, and having some way to incorporate it, kind of helps. But it's a fun material to just even have on hand. It's like a collection of precious, semi-precious rocks or something like that, gems like that. It's just kind of fun to incorporate them into a card if we can. Okay, thanks for watching. If you've sat through this entire series, thanks so much for watching. And I don't know, hope you kind of play around with kind of this whole idea of, scenic stamping in caves. They're really easy to format, and there's a lot of different variation you can do with them. I think this looks cool, just, this top portion as is, even without this bottom portion, but you can really add this kind of dynamic little kind of diorama type of aspect of it, in a two-dimensional format, just working up a little bit with the 3D down here with those little crystals and things like that. But even if you didn't do that, you can come up with a pretty good quick version of that without all this extra little bling. But if you have the time and inclination, it's really fun to add those extra little things in there. Maybe these are the cards that we make for ourselves, with the amount of time and kind of placement of it, or you enjoy it, for yourself for a while. Then, when you make another one, or I don't know, have some special, whatever, day coming up, and then you send them that one, and you make another one for yourself and get some practice in of, I don't know. It's almost like jewelry making or something like that, kind of merging jewelry making with card making, when we're dealing with these little types of elements like that. Okay, thanks again.